If it's one thing my wife liked to read. After 51 years of marriage, she still liked to read about married life. And when she started to read about married life, she just make me dress up in a nice jacket, a nice shirt, and a tie to create the atmosphere of marriage. But I'll tell you something, Marriage could have a lot of promises, and sometimes we don't keep all the promises. But the strange thing is, yesterday in Arima, I saw a young lady wearing a ring, and I thought it was an engagement ring. And I said to the young girl, I said, tell me something, when is the wedding? She said, no, this is not an engagement ring. I said, so what is that? She said, this is a promise ring. Promise ring? But boy, in all my years of marriage, I never hear about a promise ring. So that make me feel real kind of ancient. So I decided to come over and check out what is this promise ring all about. And they say a promise ring is a forerunner to an engagement ring. Well, boy, I'm so happy that me and getting married in this day and age, because that sounded like a lot of money. A lot of money to put out, boy. First you have a promise ring. What are you promising? To be that this girl here or this fella here, this is going to be boyfriend and girlfriend. But is that a binding commitment? Me, know. What will your wedding ring cost you? Your engagement ring?
52 years ago.
Yeah.
At Stetcher's, which was one of the top leading place.
Uh-huh.
It was $160.
And that was plenty money for me, I wasn't working for plenty money. $160.
Your mother must give you.
$160. Uh-huh.
And the wedding ring cost $50.
$50 for a wedding ring. How much are a wedding ring today?
Thousands.
Well, boy, you have to know what you're promising these days, yes?
For sure.
Yeah. And when you do the first wedding ring I buy for you?
Boy, the first wedding ring when I put on weight, it get too small for me. So I gave it to Lisa.
You give it to your daughter?
Yes.
She still have it?
Yes. And as soon as my finger get back slim enough, I go in and take it back from her. Because 50 years later, that is the wedding band in style now. A broad band out of white gold, and it was a beautiful ring.
And how much is it for that ring?
Was $50.
$50? That 2 weeks pay for me back at the Express.
You're lucky it was as expensive as the engagement ring.
What the engagement ring cost?
$160.
That 3 weeks pay for me. You bleed me, girl. It's a lucky thing my mother helped me out.
It's a good thing you didn't have to buy a promise ring.
But what happened in the first ring and you lose a ring in the carcass? You went diving?
Right. So the second ring that was bought was a little bigger. Because I said, in case someone getting fat, I better take it a little bigger.
Right.
We going down in carcass, bathing in the sea. You know, I'll be wild when I get in, especially when I reach in the Carcass Beach where I born and grew up. And boy, when I dive so, my ring, oh gosh, where's my wedding ring? You don't remember that?
I remember that, yes. I remember that. That must be under the lighthouse all now,
Well, boy, whoever get that.
And then I buy a next ring.
Right. When it was going to be our 30th anniversary,
Mm-hmm.
I lose the ring. It wasn't too long before my 30th anniversary. So you bought this ring, and that ring was bought quite in Guyana to be sure you get good gold.
Where is
And then we went to Jamaica.
And you lose it?
And I lose it in Jamaica.
You have more real money for me, You have
money
for me.
I real love.
Love, boy. According to my sister, love can carry you to the grocery, But let me go back to this thing about a promise ring. What kind of promises you could really make to somebody you're going to get married to? The only thing you could really promise is to be faithful, to be kind, to be true. you go help them get up in the morning and, tidy the room, help you with the bed, help you with the kitchen a little bit. But fellas really and truly don't care for that these days, eh?
Well, I will tell you something. I read in a book, The 5 Love Languages.
Uh-huh.
Right? And one of the first things, every person have a different love language.
Okay.
So you have 5 love languages. One of them is affirmations. Right?
Mm.
Another person, another wife might like quality time.
Right.
Another wife may like receiving gifts. Well, it's a good thing.
I give you a gift one day. First year in remarriage.
You want like receiving gifts.
I give you a nice gift, a nice Christian dress there, and the next thing is you find it too old-fashioned, you put it in the cupboard and cockroach eat it. I never buy you another gift after that,
it's a good thing that I am not one for my love language is receiving gifts. Also, acts of service. And you might want to know what is act of service.
What is that?
And the 5th one is physical touch.
You mean like this?
Yes.
Okay.
And like this.
Oh. What do you want me to do for your girl? Yeah, go ahead.
Right? So different women or men have different love language. For the person who loves gifts, it may never matter to them if you do a lot of acts of service.
Okay.
Which is like help sweep and mop, or wash the car, or cut the lawn. It won't matter.
Right.
Because once she's receiving her gifts for her birthday, you give her, nice expensive cologne or flowers, Valentine's Day. There are some wives get angry if their husband Valentine's Day didn't take them out for dinner or lunch,
But then the man is the same too sometimes.
Yeah. So it goes both ways.
Right.
Now, for instance, those who like acts of service, right? Like in this particular chapter here, Jim primary love language, what I call an act of service, such as cooking a meal, setting a table, washing dishes, cleaning a commode, getting hairs out of the sink, removing the white spots from the mirror, getting bugs off the windshield.
Oh God, he's suffering like me, boy.
No, but he expects his wife to do those things.
Oh, he expects his wife to do those things? But I expect my wife to do those things too.
But you do it for me. So saying I am not a wife who like gifts, I like the acts of service too.
Right.
And also physical touch. I love when you hug me, if I'm walking down the corridor and you hug me and you say, darling, you just feel like you were 50 years ago.
Of course. You mean that?
It's not true.
I lied blatantly, boy. But something talking about that. I went somebody earlier and I see a fella pull up, nice girl, nice chappy, nice vehicle, and he just come out of the car and he walk inside and she follow. They went by the sink to sanitize and he do it first and then he turn and he walk inside, and I am sure they're shopping for their household. But whatever happened to chivalry? People go say that's an old-fashioned thing.
Yeah, but there are still people who, that's why there are people, when you speak to them, they'll tell you they're not happy in their marriage.
Yeah.
They'll tell you, my husband has worked so hard, he's a good provider, I'm in lack of nothing, we have driving a fancy car, we have a beautiful home, but he's so busy that he has no time for the family. So I often wonder too, but where the love and all the promises that they'll give you the sky and the moon and everything else, what has happened at the marriage? But reading this book has really helped me understand better.
Okay, but I thought I was helping you all along.
No, well, you just seem to understand what were my love language.
You sure I didn't write that book?
But different couples varies.
Yeah.
If I was a person for gifts, I'll be quarreling with you every birthday and every Valentine's Day and every anniversary.
Well, boy, I tell you, you'd rather marry somebody who running Trinity Mall.
But act of service and physical touch is very important to, I would think, a lot of people.
Very good, very good.
And money don't have to buy that.
Boy, I tell you, I am so happy that I didn't make any big set of promises and buy any big set of promise rings. I never hear about that. I mean, I had to write a letter to your sister. Eh?
Well, that was the promise.
Yeah, that was the promises were made there.
Yeah.
You know, that I will take care of this woman. Poor as she was, I will take care of her. And hope that she one day could get rich and take care of me. Yeah, so also all those fellas out there who giving their girls promise rings.
And very
whoever turn around, you know, somebody
rings.
say that you can't blame the ring if some things go bad. Eh? The ring is just a circular thing. Yeah. It is solid, and if things go bad, you can't blame. And a ring is not going to really change your partner. Eh?
No.
It is.
And the understanding is to understand what is the love language of your mate. Understand that, and once you understand that, you will work on the areas that you're lacking.
Yes.
And that makes the person happier, and there's less to quarrel about because they're content.
Right. So I like my outfit.
You look sharp as ever.
Sharp as ever? Sharp as when I married you?
Yeah, boy.
Okay, Louis. Thank you.
Sharper, man, sharper. You get better with age, man. You look
all right. You promise?
Promise.
All right.